And we are live. Good morning, everyone. Assuming it's morning wherever you are, of course. I'm just going to check some cool different screen options. Oh, look at that one. That's fun. And then we got this and this, and kind of back to the classic here.
Like that.
Welcome to another episode of what I am calling the Quarantine All-Stars interview series. Learn from the best on house arrest. Becoming more and more aware that I'm going to have to change the name because we're not going to be in this spot forever. And once we're not in this spot anymore, I really don't want to hearken back to this time too much.
Yeah.
So with that having been said, just understand that looking for my face is the key, not the title. Today we have Michelle DEMERS with us. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Oh, thanks for asking. It's actually DEMERS.
See, me and my clumsy ham-fisted pronunciations. Today we have Michelle DEMERS with us. And tell me in your own words what you're going to teach us about, because you offered a lot of very tantalizing things as sort of an umbrella of what you can rock out with us on. So.
Sure. Well, I'm Michelle DEMERS. My website is pwr15.com. So I'm the creator of the Power 15, Move Mountains in 15 Minutes a Day, where I teach people how to work in highly productive, high intensity cycles where they get more done in their day, stay focused on their goals. And as a sister to that, I run the Power 15 Club, where I give people daily accountability on their goals and check-ins, coaching, community, peer support, additional trainings, and that sort of thing. So it's a really lovely online community where everyone's putting into practice the principles that I teach.
Oh, fantastic. And just quickly, I'm going to look down for just a second. It's only because I'm doing those sort of last minute little adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So if all of you would be so kind as to bear with me for 1 second while I handle all this stuff. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to start a watch party. Start the party, damn it. And then I believe there's a way to share this to, wow, I can actually invite a whole bunch of people just directly off of my messenger list. Don't know what'll happen with that, but just did it.
That's great.
I thought there was a way to share it just to my profile. Oh, maybe that's it. Okay, there. Sorry, everybody. I have yet to figure out a way to do all that stuff ahead of time. So
multitasking.
Yeah. And then I was doing it yesterday with the guest, and then I watched back, and I was doing this. And so I didn't read very well on camera, so I just wanted to give everybody a little caveat. Cool. So you've got some high-level accountability strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you prefer to work with? Is that even relevant to you? Are you more of a solution or a avatar kind of a person, if you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, well, I have 3 demographics that I work with. So one is the person who wants to come in and be a member in the club. They have a goal they want to work on. They want to be more productive. They want to be part of a community, get support. So that's one prong of 3. The middle prong is I work with coaches, consultants, speaker trainers, service providers, anyone who is an expert. They're teaching their own classes, they're running their own groups. And then my group can kind of plug into what they're doing to add an extra layer of community, accountability, and that kind of thing. So I can host their people in my club, and then that also becomes an additional revenue stream for them. And then my third bracket is corporate. Actually, I want to break into corporate, especially with what's going on now, because there's so many remote workers, and I can teach online remote work, productivity, team building, and all that stuff remotely, which is in demand right now. So I'm looking forward to actually getting into that market.
Yeah, my wife works for a fully distributed company. Like a mid-level startup that they've already got 700 or 800 people. So they're not really a true startup anymore, but they've been fully distributed since before this happened. And as soon as this happened, they got shot to they're like the darling of the tech space now because they've already got fully distributed figured out. Really, really interesting stuff. But I want to drill down on the second prong.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. How do I, I guess for lack of a better way to put it, how do I connect my tribe to what you're doing and it helps me more?
Right. Right. Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, just a little bit of background to help provide context. So I've been in the coaching industry for 20 years, and I've been more of a business coach to other coaches, consultants, strategists, basically working on everything from branding to marketing to product and service development, anything except the accounting and finance stuff I had my hands in. So I've done a lot of product creation, launches, courses, groups, that kind of thing. And I've developed a specialty for creating online communities. And what I've seen is that, and the statistics are that in online courses, probably about 3 to 5% of people actually complete the course. Yeah. And even a fewer percentage actually get results. You know, it's one thing to actually take a course, it's another thing to implement it. And so what we're seeing in the coaching consulting community courses is that people are buying programs, but they're not necessarily finishing them.
Absolutely kills me.
Yeah. And that's hard for the coach or consultant. I mean, it's great to get a revenue stream off their course, but if people aren't able to complete it, they're not buying more, they're not sticking with it, they're not getting that level of satisfaction or results. Yeah. And so what I've done is created a counterpart where your people can take your course, your subject matter, and get daily accountability on the process on which they're actually completing it. So I teach people how to take what you do, break it down into the bite-sized steps, get a little bit done every day, they're checking in, and so they're actually able to get through the course and they're able to get results. So yeah, and I run all of that for people, which is why it's so cool. I've decided to offer a done for you service because there's a lot to learn in running a group like I do with tech and my Power 15 process and stuff. And literally, I can just invite you in, we can do a promotion, and your people can come in and I can start working with them. And it's nice because you can still be positioned as the expert, as the coach, as the subject matter person. You can still do what you do. You know, if you are running weekly live calls or whatever it is you're offering in your program, you still continue to do, and they just get this added boost and support from what we do.
If I get this wrong, please forgive me, because I don't intend to trivialize what you do, but is it like, is it in some way akin to like Zendesk or something, where you're offering additional support as an outside agency, and are you sort of white labeling it in a way? Does Zendesk and the term white label apply to what you're doing?
We're not a Zendesk at all, so I can give you the how it works.
This is very, very interesting to me.
Yeah. So what I do is I run teams of the sweet spot is around 10 to 12 people are in a daily, what I call a daily achievement team, because it's more than just accountability. They're getting stuff done. They're getting support coaching. So every day they come in, they log in, and there's like a little worksheet that they fill out on what they got done. And then they get a check mark in the grid that they've checked in, and then their teammates come in and comment on what they got done. So offering feedback, resources, encouragement, that kind of thing. And then there's a accountability coach that is making sure that people are doing the check-ins. And so, and that coach also will coach them on, if they're procrastinating, how can they overcome that? If they're not being focused, how do they overcome that? So while you're giving them the subject matter of whatever you teach, I know you do branding related work. They're getting that from you, but they're getting from us how do they make time for it in their day to get it done. And it's very intimate community. Like those teams really bond.
Yeah.
And the reason why it works so well, I have close to 100% participation rate because I have strict guidelines on participation, and I have something called play to stay. If you're not showing up, you actually can't stay.
Right.
So it keeps people, they know they got to be there, right? And it keeps our groups really engaged. And that's why everyone that goes through it, if they're working on stuff every day, they're going to actually have a result.
So, wow. So you come in and you offer me, your value add to me is I'll help you to get more of your people through your course and better results.
Yes, and make additional income because there's a revenue share opportunity with what I do.
Okay.
So it's an additional income stream. And the people that come through my program, because of their results and their satisfaction, are more likely to buy more from you.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for example, they get so close in their little groups, they want to go to a live event to see you and to see each other, right?
Sure.
They might need additional coaching to go to the next level. So they might upgrade into more of a, a higher level program that you have, or one-on-one, or that kind of thing. So it actually can become an engine to have additional sales in the other parts of your business.
I mean, I can see that. We hear talk about this all the time, and this is for you guys listening, not for Michelle, who obviously knows this already. The easiest, most sort of like, I want to say ethical, but you guys wouldn't be unethical anyway, so that doesn't matter, right? But so the easiest, most sort of aligned sale you'll ever make is to the person you just blew the mind of, right? The person you just rocked out phenomenal results. When you take somebody and you, like if you're working at the entry level coach, you help them to book their first few clients, forget about it. And I think we can lose sight of this truth with all the sort of shouting about the funnel and the driving traffic, and like so much of what people in marketing focus on is bringing new people in, which is super important. But just from a hard and fast perspective, acquisition cost for someone you've already served is zero.
Right.
And you're inevitably probably bringing them into a higher paid situation anyway. So
yes,
so I think,
exactly. If I can add to that, I mean, our groups, so you can think of it like a subscription, recurring income, because what happens is a course is for a period of time, right? There's so many modules, whether you give it all to them at once or you drip it out, it's however long it is.
Right.
4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is.
Right.
So learning is for a period of time, but implementation is forever. There you go. What happens is the people are working your process over and over and over again. So some great examples are, I've had people in my groups close to 2 years who've stayed. They're paying every month or every quarter. And so they're staying because they're continuing to get stuff done and grow. So that never stops. So salespeople might learn a sales process, but then they have to keep selling, right? Right. So they have to keep showing up and doing the work. And that's what we're supporting them with. And that's why they stay. So our program is what I call content light and action heavy.
Sure.
So I'm not throwing a ton of content at people. My Power 15 course is under an hour. And the only other content that I give people is like, every week or every other week, just a quick tip. And if we have calls, which I run 1 or 2, like Power 15 calls a month, we'll record those. But it's not continual. Here's the next module. Here's the next training. Because I want people to actually be working on whatever they're trying to get done, as opposed to, here's more content. Here's more content for you. And that's why they're getting results, because they're spending the time on implementation as opposed to learning.
I think that there's think that there's a little bit of a collective neuroses when it comes to the difference between implementation and learning.
Yeah.
I think it's very easy for us to confuse learning with implementation. It gives you the same dopamine hit, you know? Okay.
Well, a lot of people use it to procrastinate to actually do it. They think they have to go get another training, another credential before they can implement anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the old adage, going faster and faster on smaller and smaller wheels.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So given this overview, given this sort of like contextual snapshot of what you're doing, which is very unique. Guys, I didn't know, by the way, just so that just in case you think I'm like feeding her these softball questions, I didn't know what she did. I make it a point not to really find out ahead of time, because I like these moments. And so far I'm 7 for 7 of people coming on that I'm just like, I had no idea you did that. But now you said you could help us to build instant online communities. Let's switch to some strategic, tactical like action steps. What do we do? Help us, Michelle.
Yeah, well, first, what I would do is I would meet with you to see, what you do, what you're currently doing with your people. So, so I know, especially right now with what's going on with coronavirus and everything, there's people in our industry, coaching, consulting, experts, service providers, that this is an opportunity for them to grow because what they do is really needed.
Mm-hmm.
For other people, they might need to pivot a little bit and just kind of adjust or adapt their offerings. And then other people are either new or they're kind of in a place where what they were offering is no longer really relevant. And then they're looking for something else to do that they can sell right now that will keep them in business and help them grow.
Yeah.
So all of that can be happening. But what I do is I would meet with you to see what your needs are. But essentially what I do is, because I have everything up and running, essentially we would decide what the angle is for your people. Do you want to have them come in and work on your course? Is it a mastermind group? Is it a continuity program from a training you did? Whatever it is that they're going to be working on. And then we develop a promotion over it, because I have everything set up. So if you gave me somebody today, I could onboard them and get them going like that. So it's just a matter of coming up with the offer and the promotion strategy, which can be anything from, a week to 2 week email sequence that leads to a webinar that sells it in, or I actually encourage people to at first do some more consultative types of selling and get their groups seated, and then they can grow it from there. Because these groups can be something that people are charging more for than what they're currently charging. So I actually have a great example for this if you have time.
I've got time.
Okay. So one of my clients, she was running a writing community group.
Okay.
Now she was charging, and she will admit she was undercharging, but she was charging $29 a month. People got a Facebook group.
Sure.
People got some trainings. They got some live Q&As with her, a couple other things, some content. $29 a month.
Yeah.
We combined what she was giving with my platform and a couple of other things. And we turned her $29 a month program to a $7,500 a year program. And you would think that the customer who's $29 wouldn't be the customer who would be the $7,500 person, but she did sell people from that program into her high ticket program, as well as other people. So I helped her take what was like a low level subscription type program that was very content based and take it into a longer term program, and people can re-up from there. It's like I have people who have been with me for a couple of years.
Sure.
They might want to renew after that. So we had like a 6-month program, a 12-month program, but I helped her raise her price because we added a ton of value with the club. So part of what I do in my consulting is I help you with the pricing and the packaging. And if you have other products and services, where does that fit into what you're already offering? You know, and if you're a premium brand, you know, if there are coaches and consultants out there that are charging, you know, $25,000, $50,000 for programs. And then there's other ones that are charging $2,000 for programs. So also take into account, you know, where your market is as we price these things out. So basically you get the people, and I help you with that because I give you marketing strategy. If you need me to come on a webinar to sell with you, happy to do that. But then basically you just hand me over the person's name. I get them going in the group, and basically I take over from there, and you can just show up and do your weekly call or whatever you're including in your package. And the cool thing about that is it's totally scalable. I have people that I can put in place as the daily check-in coach. And so, you know, one person in one launch, we got 50 people in. So I can scale to high numbers very quickly.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One is I'm gonna corner you into actually giving some teachables. That's part of the show. But the other question is, how do you describe this? There's so much you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what's your elevator pitch? Like, I mean, to me, because I'm in the process of taking the several things that I do, which are all under one umbrella, and going through a process of bringing them down into one sort of, you know, congealed idea, one distilled idea. What's that for you? Because it sounds like you have a lot of different moving parts. So what's your elevator pitch?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can kind of encapsulate what I do into, I call them get it done groups.
Interesting.
You know, it's we're getting done whatever it is that they're working on. It's more than that, but in terms of, you know, bring it down to kindergarten, 10 seconds, what do you do? I run get it done groups. Yeah, they're more than that because I also take a mindful approach. Like, it isn't just people are checking in on, you know, I got X done, but they're learning about themselves. I talk about being the scientist of you, and it's not just enough to say, you know, I'm procrastinating, but let's dig into why.
Yeah.
Let's address that, you know, so it's a much deeper kind of work and more mindful approach. And that's why the transformations are so big, because we're not just staying surface. We're helping people get to the root of their productivity issues and what's been holding them back. So, you know, the psychology, the mindset, all of that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, originally the title for this interview was Building Instant Online Communities. So how do I build an instant online community, or is it that I just plug into what you're already doing?
Yeah, it is a community. So, you know, my group sizes are 10 to 12 people. There's a sweet spot. So if you only have a few people, they just plug into one of my existing groups. If you have 10 or 12 people, then they can create a group for them. Or if you have 50 people, I create 5 groups of 10 of your people. So the neat thing is, because a lot of people are in a place of, well, I don't know if I can get 10 or 12 people all at once in a launch phase. And if you can't, then as you get people in, we just enroll them and they become part of the other teams. So basically, all you have to do is sell them in, and they're into a community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do I want to take from here? So you help not only with increasing the productivity and the success rate, I think it is really the important metric of each of my students. But you also help with, do I have this right, launches and attraction and marketing to get new people?
Yeah, I provide consulting.
Okay.
I provide, you know, resources such as copy. I can create a landing page on my website for you if you don't have one, or, you know, give you what you need to make it on your website. So yes, I do that because I handle the stuff once they're in, but I also want to support you on getting them in. So I do provide that. And for some of my clients who really see this as a big revenue opportunity for them, because it could be, it can grow to a 6-figure a year plus opportunity, depending on the size of the business and what we charge for it. I also offer coaching around the business side. How do you grow this if you really want to invest in making this a sizable income stream?
Tell me about the process of surveying the landscape and seeing this as the problem you wanted to solve. And does this connect to your past experience and skill sets? Talk to me about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, so I started in coaching kind of way back when it was first started taking off as a trend. And in 2005, internet was really picking up in terms of starting to create products and courses and that kind of thing. And I started working with Coachville, which is a coach training school. And I was working with them to create their online communities for the courses that they were running. So I started to get my feet wet in it. And I really saw that as a coach, consultant, speaker, trainer person, that this model was the way to really scale a business and to create that recurring revenue. So I've also launched other communities. Back in around 2007, 2008, I had an online community for women entrepreneurs. I did that for a couple of years. It was good, but then I moved on to some other things. But I always kept coming back to this online community model, subscription model. I knew that there was something there in terms of really creating significant revenue as well as helping a lot of people. A few years ago, I was kind of more in the content model, like subscription for content. But again, over the years and working with people, I just saw that clients were struggling to get results. They were struggling to do the work between the calls. I would have a call with a client and be like, okay, we're ready to go. And, here's your homework for the week. And then, on day one, they're like, ooh, I'm excited. And then by day 3, they forgot what they were supposed to work on. And then you get to the next call and they're like, what was I supposed to do again? Or I didn't do it. So what I realized is people need daily support. Weekly check-ins are not enough. They lose their momentum.
They don't seem to be quite enough. I would agree with that. Yeah.
And so this solves that problem, because one of the reasons why the industry went to courses was because it was allowing people to scale in the industry.
Of course.
But courses aren't coaching. Courses is just, here's information. Coaching is helping the person apply it and work through it to get to the result. So we didn't have a mechanism to be able to offer that piece in a scalable way. So that's the piece that I've been able to create, is I'm able to provide very high touch, hands-on, daily coaching and accountability to keep people going between the weekly calls or every other weekly calls or with the courses. That's scalable. And the reason I do the done for you is because it's a fairly complex model. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people in our industry struggle to get these types of things going, is because you have to learn the model. You got to learn the software. You got to get, all of that stuff. And people could take a lot of time to try to figure it all out themselves.
Yeah, that's a good point. To that point, and in addition to that, I would say there is an epidemic of people who conflate having done it themselves with being able to teach it. So in case you guys didn't catch that, I'm calling out a big number of the coaches out there. It is just profound to me how bad the teaching is from some of these people who are otherwise wonderful people. And I, in no way do I mean to suggest that it's duplicitous or anything like that, but I have $50,000 worth of courses right now that I cannot wade through because the teaching is so bad. So I think in that way, if you are able to help people over that obstacle, And that's a really powerful thing. I do want you to teach us something today. I want you to teach us something that we'll be better off for knowing that we didn't know before we talked to you.
Sure.
Do you have anything on deck like that you can I put you on the spot like that?
Tons of stuff.
Great. Give us something strategical, I think is a Bugs Bunny word. So let's say strategic and tactical that we can take with us.
Yes. Okay. So I've got two things I could talk about. Okay. We've been talking about, we've been talking in our talk today to the coach, consultant, senior trainer person. So let me give something to that person listening. And then if you want, I could talk more about Power 15 productivity tips too. But to the business person.
Let's do this. Let's give us what you're about to give us. And you guys, if you want the second thing, go find her. Because really the idea here is don't just, in fact, it's exactly what you're talking about. Don't just sit back and absorb information, take action. Yeah. So if what Michelle is talking about seems like it could help you, reach out. Okay.
Thank you. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Welcome. Yeah, no, I'm happy to focus this call for other coaches and people in the industry because what I am seeing is several things. So one is people are relying on courses to do a lot of the heavy lifting and to be a significant revenue stream in their business. Yeah. And I think while 10 years ago, it was like really hot and up and coming, I think the market has gotten a little tired of buying and not getting the result. Yeah. So even though I know with what's happening now with the coronavirus and, people are looking for courses online and that kind of thing, I still think that you need to be mindful that that's not really the only thing that you can provide people, right? Moving forward, market's changing. People are looking for experiential programs. They want to have an experience with you, right? The other thing is because we know our topic so well and we want other people to know it to the degree that we know it, we dump so much content on our clients and our students and our customers. Yeah. They don't need to go into the super depths of things. They need to kind of know enough to be able to implement and do it, but they need to spend way more time implementing. So one of my pieces of advice is you got to cut back the content and you got to increase the application and the how-to, like not just the reason why they should be doing something, but the step-by-step how to do it. And it really needs to be laid out step-by-step. Like I call it, give them the GPS directions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely like a personal sore spot of mine, how often this is missed. I think that there's so much I want to say. I'm gonna actually choose not to say most of it. So what you're saying then is for the coach out there who's passionate about what they do and wants other people to understand it and get results from it, the results creation engine is not necessarily more content. This is right? Is that right? Right. That's your guys' takeaway. Your takeaway is look at how to help implementation. How to help actual execution.
Right. The content should be in the format of the how-to steps more than all of the back theory. Yeah. Not that the back theory isn't important, but I'll give a good example. So I had one person who their topic was teaching people how to create miracles in their life. It's a 2-day seminar. 3/4 of the whole thing, all day Saturday and most of the day Sunday, was on convincing people that miracles exist. And then the last hour was, here's how you do it.
Right. Yeah.
People were already in the chairs because they believed you could have a miracle. So you didn't have to spend that much time trying to convince them. You could have spent a lot more time teaching them the process on how they make it happen in their lives. But a lot of us try to teach all of that, big knowledge that we have. And some people might want to go deeper, but they need to start implementing it early on. And then it kind of goes in tandem, right? They're implementing with the early stuff, they're getting results, and then you can add and you can layer. And that's the other reason why my programs, I get the continuity of people that stay, because we spread stuff out. When I'm consulting with somebody, I'll look at their course, and what they think is a 4 or 6 week program, I'll tell them is a 6-month program.
Right.
They're just thinking that they can cram all this information into people.
Yeah.
And they can't absorb it, and they can't do it. Yeah.
So what you can do is you can look at your success rates in your students to know if there's something wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, because everybody's checking in every day, we're learning, we're getting the feedback in real time. You know, I struggled with this thing. Or we also are getting on the spot testimonials, because one of the questions I ask is what's going well. And they're like, this was great. I was able to do this and I got this result. And so I'll message people and say, hey, can I use that as a testimonial?
Yeah.
So it's almost like I don't have to go ask for testimonials special. They're there as part of our process. And we're able to catch people so early when they start to go off course that they never really fall off the wagon, right? And then it's hard to get them back. So we can help them course correct very easily.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that this is a very, very valuable thing you're doing. So the sort of final thought, the sign off thought is, if any of this is sort of hitting home for you guys, not only do you have a tactical idea for what you can start to do different, but if you want more support, go and find Michelle.
Yeah, if you feel like this could be a great addition to your business, or it can actually be a standalone business income stream for people too, I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody. And on my website, I have images of what the communities look like, so it gives people more of an idea of what we do. Great.
In terms of where they can find you, I've been deliberate to flash back and forth between the banner and your name. Go ahead and give a shout out to your website or wherever your best point of contact is. Let's do that.
Sure. So my website is pwr15.com. That's short for Power 15. And on Facebook, I actually friend a lot of folks and get to know them that way. So you can find my personal page, Michelle Lynn DEMERS, and we can connect up there. I am actually starting a group for the coach, consultant, trainer person where I'm going to be teaching this business model. So I have a Facebook group that I'm just starting for that as well.
So if you'd like to get into the Facebook group, go find her. What's the message here? What's the takeaway? Go find her. All right. Michelle, thank you so much. What a treat. And I love what you're doing. I love your work. That is so cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.